All right, so linear equation word problems using a table. Some of these are pretty easy, some of these kind of get a little bit tricky, but let's go through them. Ying Ying wants to buy some petunias. The table compares the number of petunias Ying Ying could buy and the money that would remain in her wallet. So what is the price per one petunia? So this is what we call a unit rate. So let's talk about a unit rate. Remember, rate is slope and unit is usually 1. So for example, if our slope was, let's just say 5 over 4, what would the unit rate be? We want it to be something over 1. So you literally just divide it. 5 divided by 4, 1.25 for every 1. So if it was like we're going to increase, it's going to cost you $5 for every 4 miles, then it would cost $1.25 for every 1 mile. That's the idea of a unit rate. We want to get it down to the 1 unit. And a lot of these, when they're talking about the rates in here, are talking about that unit rate. So what's the price for one petunia? So let's find out the price. Let's look at this graph. So the money difference, if you look right here, well, money, he's spending this money, right? This is how much he has in his wallet. And after he buys, you can see there, he buys 6 petunias. So that's the run. He loses $1.50. So $1.50 divided by the 6 will give us that unit rate. How much is it per 1 petunia? So it's $1.50 for 6 petunias. So it's 25 cents for each petunia. So I know technically this rate is negative because he's losing money in his wallet, but they're not charging you negative cents per petunia. They're charging 25 cents, which was the question's asking for. So just be careful with that. Looking at this question, what's the increase in temperature that would come with the increase of 1 cycle per second? So we could see the increase right there. If you just don't see it, you can do 25.4 minus 23.8 in the calculator, which is 1.6. So we see a change of 1.6 there. And what happens here on the run is we go up 2. So it goes up 1.6 for every 2 cycles. So that unit rate, remember we want it to be over 1, right? So that unit rate, we're going to take 1.6 divided by 2. I think that's 0.8. So we have 0.8 degrees. It goes up by 0.8 degrees for every 1 cycle, because going up 1.6 for every 2. So just got to be careful with that. Let's look at this one. Same engine question, right? But what is the engine's temperature at rest? So we have this table, and when it's at rest, do you think the engine's rotating? No, the engine's at rest, so it's going to be at 0. So we got to go backwards to where this is 0. Let me draw a new table so we can do that. So if we were to draw this table, I would go backwards. Notice this pattern is 3, right? And there is 2.4. So if we go backwards, I'm going to subtract 3. It's going to be 6. And then here we subtract the 2.4 instead of adding the 2.4. So 22.2 minus 2.4 is 19.8. Then we'll go back again. That would be 3 minus 2.4 is 17.4. And then minus 3 again gets us back to that rest, because now it's at 0, which is 15. So 15 degrees Celsius would tell you the temperature whenever we're at rest, whenever we have 0 rotations. All right, and then this last question, what was Mr. Mole's speed? And so this one, once again, that's talking about the rate. So we're just going to figure out how fast he's going. Now, when we talk about speed and velocity are different. Velocity, you consider the negative rate. But with speed, if I asked you, hey, how fast did you drive to Yuma? You wouldn't tell me you drove negative 70 miles per hour. You tell me that you drove 70. So we answer with a positive number. So let's figure out what the slope is, and then we'll just do the absolute value. So negative 25.2 minus negative 18 is negative 7.2. So our slope is negative 7.2 over 3. So let's divide that to get our unit rate. Which is negative 2.4. Remember, speed we're talking is going to be positive. So he's going 2.4 meters per minute. Because remember, he's digging down. That's why it's negative, because it's going down and down and down. And that's the idea of the assignment. Just be careful and read it. There was one in here that asks, like, what's the initial cost? That's also asking for what was that y-intercept, that starting value. So just be careful, read through it. Shouldn't